So, Joanne, a lot of our participants, pretty much most of our participants don't know you yet. So why don't we start with just a few words about yourself, where you live, what you do, just a little bit about you.
So I'm Johanne O'Halloran. Hi, I'm in Ireland. I live in Laois, actually, in the Midlands. I'm a single parent to my daughter who is about to turn 21. So she's going to be 21 on the 21st
Adult
of
now.
December. I know, we're not going to talk about that.
Okay.
Joking. And I'm a success coach for mums. But before that, I worked in HR my entire adult life. And yeah, let's just say my life looks very, very, very different now from how it did when I first met Eva in March 2020. There's no comparison. It's like chalk and cheese. They're not even the same.
I love that you call yourself success coach. That's exactly what I'm doing as well. Success mentor. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And success coach for moms.
Yeah.
Love this. Love this. All right. So Joanne, tell us a little bit about your results, your what was your life like before you started working with us, and what made you decide to jump on board?
Yeah. My life before was miserable. And I can say that now. Would I have said that at the time? Probably not. I knew I was unhappy. I didn't like any part of my life, to be honest with you. I didn't like, I just come out of a long-term relationship that was not a good relationship, wasn't a healthy one. I was in a career I just didn't enjoy, and I kept going from job to job to try and find what I was looking for in the same cycle. My family life wasn't great because myself and Leah didn't have the best relationship because of everything else that was going on. I was working really long hours. Okay, in theory, it looked like I had it all together because, I bought my house when I was 26 because I could. But yet I lived really far away from my family and my friends. I had like a senior management position. I was the head of HR for a multi-million euro company. Like a national company in Ireland. I got to travel. Myself and Leah went on holidays. Leah had a horse. So like in theory, that sounds like, the ideal world. I was miserable. Like, how could you enjoy your life when all you do is work?
Yeah.
And then you come home and you're worried, like, I'm not a good mom. I don't have a relationship. I was actually having 2 miscarriages. My health was not good at all, like in terms of my stress levels, my physical health. I'd gone from putting on a lot of weight to losing a lot of weight. It just, everything was really unhealthy. And I knew I was in a spiral. And when how I ended up coming to meet Eva was I'd actually gone to counselling because I thought there was something wrong with me. And I actually thought it was to do with my miscarriages. And I thought that that's what was, the problem. And thankfully, I had a really intuitive counsellor that said on the second session, counselling's not what you need. You're well able to articulate yourself. She said, you understand your emotions. That's not going to, help you. So she sent me for energy healing. And I'd never heard of this before. And the energy healer did her thing that day. And I became obsessed with it, as everyone knows. But she gave me a copy of The Secret. And it was so funny because I started looking for signs of what I was to do, signs of how my life was going to change. And I'm sure other people have heard this too. Like, I got obsessed with Bob Proctor. I knew who he was before, but I didn't know who he was. And I was like, oh, wouldn't it be amazing to be able to meet him and, to learn from him? And sure enough, what popped up on Facebook, an ad with Eva beside Bob. And I was like, right, that's it. I'm going. And like, this is at midnight. Yeah. This is at midnight. And I rang one of my friends that I knew would like not judge me because I was in that thing of a fear of being judged, that wouldn't judge me. And I was like, will you come with me to this event? And she was like, what is it about? I went, I have no idea, but will you come with me? And yeah, the rest then is history, because as soon as Eva started talking, it was like, oh, that is how I feel. That is literally how I feel. And I was like, I'm not alone. And that was a big thing for me because pride got in my way a lot. Ego got in my way a huge amount. And I never verbalized how I was feeling. I was the responsible person. I put everything on my shoulders. Nobody ever knew what I was feeling. There was always 2 Joannes. There was the one that you got to see here, and then there was the real me. And she got lost along the way because I got so used to putting on this front and this mask. I really didn't know who I was. So yeah, my life changed that day.
I tell you, I mean, every time you say your past life, I just kind of go back on my own memory lane, and I felt exactly the same. I just like on the outside, and there's a lot of women and men, who technically, we have good jobs, high level corporate employment and it seems like you have it all, and then something inside of you is screaming. It's like, I know I can do better. I know this is not mine. I know I'm not fully happy. I'm not fulfilled. And this is the beautiful thing, is that's actually the voice that we should be listening to. This is our soul screaming to get out and actually fulfill ourselves in different ways. So I'm delighted you got to me at certain point. And yes, you actually followed the signs. So good. You know, I was talking to some participants earlier and they were like, oh, I'm not going to do it now. And I'm like, you know, you're putting out intention in the universe. You have a goal or you have an obstacle you want to overcome, and universe delivers on time. There is no such thing as different timing for the universe. You shouldn't do it now. You should do it at certain time. If you have been asking for the solutions that we provide and you are here in the masterclass and you know that we can help you with thinking into results, you're here because you're meant to do it, and you're meant to do it now. And there is consequences if you don't do it now. It's so interesting. I think it's just like, it took a lot of years for me to understand that we always receive guidance and we always receive solutions, but do we become aware of it? That's another thing. And about 3% of people become aware. The rest settles and thinks that they're living great life, you know? Anyway, let's talk about your biggest results. What are the biggest results for Johanne O'Halloran?
Depends on where you come from. I've had results in all parts of my life. So I genuinely mean my life doesn't look anything like what it used to. So I have my own business in terms of monetary values, because I know I was going to want me to talk about that. My best week was a 14K week. I consistently make money every single solitary month.
Yes.
That fluctuates, right? And it fluctuates because of how my intention. So everything is intention. It's not about mechanism. So it's not about the house. So get that out of your heads right now. But I choose to have push months where I push harder, so my revenue would go up. But on average, my revenue is kind of in around the 12,500 a month. Yeah. But yeah, when I push harder, I get more. And when I say push, that does not mean I work harder. It means that my intention is very set and I'm very intentional about what I do. And I know what I'm aiming for. Yeah. And I'm super specific.
Can I ask you, just as a comparison, what was the revenue when you were overworked in the corporate world, or what was the income then?
So I'm going to give you two answers to that. My salary technically was 50,000, which is shocking for what I'm doing, right? Or what I was doing. However, when COVID hit, my hours dropped to 15 hours a week. You do the math. You couldn't survive on that. As a single parent with a mortgage and bills, no.
Yeah.
No,
and
couldn't
you
survive.
Invested in yourself just when COVID. We're going to talk about that later, because this is a fascinating story of trust and following the signs. And oh my goodness, aren't you happy you followed the signs? It's so good.
It's not even a thing. Like, for what you were saying there about how, you know, the way everything falls into place. For 8 years, I tried to do it myself. And for 8 years, I repeated the same cycle over and over and over again. I kept getting more and more frustrated by nothing was changing. The opportunities were coming in my lap and I just wasn't doing nothing with them. I kept in the same cycle. So it is really important. Like, if you're here for a reason. It's not even a question. It's just do it. Yeah. In terms of,
tell us more, because you had increase in every single area. Tell us more.
Yes, there's an awful lot of changes. So the relationship with myself and my daughter is, there's no comparison. We don't fight anymore. We're able to talk things through. Nothing, like, the emotions have calmed in the house an awful lot. She has also changed her way of being because of what I've done. So she was actually studying law in college, which a lot of people go, wow, that's brilliant. But if you knew my daughter, that wasn't for her at all. It's just not her way. So she has now set up her own business. And so she's a makeup artist, but she gets to use that anywhere in the world. So herself and her boyfriend are planning on going off to travel, but she already is setting herself up for success, which she would never have done before. Public speaking. I hated public speaking before. Hated it. So like, as in, I would never ever used to say to me that, like, there's no picture of me. She couldn't find a picture of me on Facebook on my own because there wasn't one. And I'd sit really far back as well from the camera, even when we were on our calls, which is insane. Like, you know, but I couldn't speak at all in public. So I ran a team of 18 people. And as a senior manager, I was going to have to do presentations, but I delegated to my team quite a lot under the guise of upskilling them.
Yeah.
But I always remember there was this one event that I was going to, and I had to talk. I had no way out of it. I couldn't delegate to anyone. Just to give you an idea of how shy I thought I was, I coughed in the car the entire way to the event to try and lose my voice. Anything to get out of it. I was even in the bathroom going, can I fake being sick? What can I do?
I relate to this so much. Oh.
It's like, you got the cold, or and then it was crazy how like painfully shy and how much I hated all eyes on me. Like anytime I had to talk, my back would be up against the wall. Whereas now, like, I'm doing international shows, I speak across the world, I'm invited to speak on different stages. It's really enjoyable now, which I never thought I would say. So that has changed. In terms of like even romance, that has changed because I'm more open now to to receiving, and I can relationships are just an awful lot easier now because I'm not trying to get all the time. It's like, what can you give? There's a totally different level of understanding. Plus, just to give you an idea, next March I have the whole month traveling in America. When would I ever be able to do that? It's done.
Freedom, girl, time freedom. So
totally. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Johanne. And it's just such a beautiful story to watch where you came from and where you are. And I know we're now making a difference to someone on this call, someone who's watching us, someone who was in our shoes, because, my story is very much like yours, feeling unfulfilled, even though everybody is like, what do you want? You have everything, right? And yet you're hurting inside, right? Okay, Johanne. So I have a couple of questions that I'm sure our participants would love to ask. And maybe we can help them with your story. So first things first, tell us a little bit about your decision, because we know that when you're making a life-changing decision, one part of you wants it and another part is petrified. Can you tell us a little bit about what was going on in your mind and how did you actually made a decision?
So my mother used to always tell me I was stubborn. Only Eva kindly taught me that actually that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like if I decide something, that's it, it's done. And my thing was always I'd speak it out so that I could never change my mind about it, but I never knew before what that was. But in terms of thinking into results, from the moment that I saw Eva on that stage, I had made the decision she was the person to change my life. I had no idea what she actually did. I had no idea how much it cost, but it was like Eva's changing my life, right? That's it. It's in Eva's hands. I don't actually remember everything Eva said to me on the phone because I was terrified she wouldn't actually work with me. So scared she wouldn't work with me. Like, it didn't even get into my head that it's a service being provided. I was terrified that you would not work with me. So whatever you said, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I was all in, and I still remember you telling me the price. And I remember my mind going, because I knew I didn't have the money, right? I did, like, when I say I didn't have the money, my hours and work had dropped. I couldn't pay my mortgage. I literally could not pay my mortgage. That is no word of a lie. I had no savings. Leah was helping pay for the shopping. My house had actually been, how do I describe it? My house, there's bits and pieces that were broken in my house from my last relationship because one of his sons was on the autism spectrum. So it was just things were not like, that was kind of where all the savings had originally gone, was fixing those things. So I literally didn't have the money. There was €1,400 in my bank account. I was never saying to Eva, going, yeah, so can I transfer you this, and then I have to get the rest of the money out of the credit union? So for anyone who's not in Ireland, it's like a different type of a bank. I didn't have the money in the credit union. I was like, right, I'll figure it out. I don't know how I'm going to figure it out, but I'll figure it out. Eva's like, yeah, no problem. And I remember getting off the phone going, oh my God, what have I done? I cannot tell anybody what I've done. I can't pay my mortgage. I've just handed a stranger €1,400. Where am I going to get the money from? What am I doing? And I remember texting Eva or emailing, I can't remember which I did, saying, oh my God, fear is really after kicking in. But I was so determined because my way hadn't worked. It just hadn't worked. It hadn't worked. I'd asked for a sign. I'd got a sign. Like, at some point, now has to be your time. Now was my time. Like, I couldn't reach. What more rock bottom could I reach? like unless my house was taken from underneath me, like that was all that was left. So made the decision, was in, that was great. Still trying to figure out how I was going to get the money. And a couple of days later, I get a check in the post. I get a check in the post for the exact amount I'm thinking into results. A company I worked for had been liquidated illegally before. We never thought we were going to get money from it. It wasn't on my mind at all. It was like out of sight, out of mind, wasn't even a thing. So not only had I not even thought about it, I had no idea if, like, I never thought we were going to get our wages or, you know, any of the things that we were owed. Government coughed up and we got it. And yeah, pay taken into results for me.
So good. And I love what you just shared. There are two things that really stand out for me. Number one is following the signs. You know, you felt that I can help you and you just jumped. And that's how it works. You know, when you make a committed decision, the whole universe conspires to help you. So frequently when our clients make a decision, money just comes in, and you know, some of them need to organize it, some of them have the savings and all that stuff. But in your case, you didn't have it. You made a committed decision. You probably didn't even know that you're working with the universal laws at that time, but you were acting like the person who has it. And then, of course, the money came to you. Congratulations. I love that. And what a beautiful story of faith and just acting on what you know is right for you, but also not stepping back when the fear kicked in. You know, after that deposit was paid, you did not fall back on safety. I love that. And couple of other questions. So you are a coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to ask you, from a perspective of being a coach, what's a value of a coach hiring a coach?
Oh, I will never be without a coach, because what I did go without a coach for a couple of months and my results dropped, because your blind spots are your blind spots. And I describe it as, I always describe myself as being like an onion, right? We're all like that. Your level of awareness is like each layer of the onion. When you peel it back, you think you know it, you think you've got it, but now you're just in your comfort zone again.
Yeah.
And next thing, something else will happen where your blind spot kicks in again, but just at a different level. Coaches are invaluable. Like they're just invaluable, because if there's something that you want to achieve, there is somebody there that will help you get it. They can't do the work for you, but they will support you in that and hold you, because it's incredible how much our blind spots kick us in the ass constantly. And me even being a coach, it's so frustrating, like, you know, when it comes up and you go, oh, isn't that interesting? But at the same time, it's like, it's my blind spot again. So I always describe it as in, like, your blind spot is like, you know, your muscle of whatever hand you write with, right? It's really, really strong. It already exists. And you got to work up the rest of them, whatever that is, whether that's, you know, your intuition, your commitment, your follow through on decisions. Like, you just got to work harder on that muscle to be able to create it. How are you going to do that if you don't even know it's there?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah. You know, I actually spoke to someone who was in coaching, and I was like, if you're not willing to hire a coach, then what are you projecting on your clients? I'm not willing to invest in myself by hiring a mentor. I can't demand someone else to invest in me. That's, you know, we frequently attract clients who project the same patterns that we project. So let's say if you want to attract clients that pay in full, you pay in full. If you want to attract clients who make decisions quickly, you make decisions quickly. If you want to attract clients who invest in you, you invest.
It's true.
Right? Yeah, it's so incredible to watch. Another thing that comes to my mind, you know, you were seriously overworked, like you were working. So a lot of the time our participants are like, you know, I'm busy mom, I'm an entrepreneur, I don't have the time, blah, blah, blah. What would you say to that? How do you make time for thinking into results?
Again, it all comes back to intention. I'm like, we all have the same amount of hours in the day, and we actually are very unproductive, but we don't realize we're productive because we're so busy being busy. So we end up being human doings rather than human beings. And I'm a mom. Okay, yes, Lee is older, but she still has needs. So then she wants to be brought places because she can't drive. So and I still cook meals for her and things because I enjoy doing that. But it's how you set yourself up. You can set yourself up for success or set yourself up to stay in a state of overwhelm. So I did my stuff in the morning. Like I worked and was building my coaching business for a good while, for the year of no over a year actually. I was doing the two. And your natural instinct is to want to go after your business while instead of doing your work, right? Because it's exciting, it's new, it's where you really want to be. But it's all to do with your intention. Set up your hours. You're only going to be doing it for a short amount of time. Like,
Yeah.
and if you're not willing to put in that effort, like you have to be willing to do some work around it. Like,
Bob would say, if you're not willing to put in the work, do you deserve your goal? And I know it's a
yeah,
harsh thing, but it's really true. You've got to be willing to put in a bit of effort. It doesn't take that much time. You can do that while you're doing other activities, but you've got to make a decision. You've got to do it. Like, otherwise, things will never change, right?
yeah.
Um, just one more question in relation to the support system in thinking into results, because
Mhm.
we do the mentorship, we do the accountability, and we do the masterminding. Can you share a little bit about what that did for you?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So my accountability partner is actually now one of my best friends. She's even after moving across the world, and she's still one of my best friends. Um, I put like, okay, I describe it like a jigsaw puzzle. You need all of it in order for it to come together as like the whole picture. So accountability is necessary because there's going to be times where you do not want to take the steps. You're just terrified. You're absolutely terrified. And I'm like, I remember I used to have like her sitting in front of me on the screen just so I could take the step. I didn't actually need her to say anything, but I wanted her to be there. The old Joanne would have been like, that's ridiculous. Don't be so stupid. But the one who was going after a goal was like, whatever it takes. That was for me what it took. If I didn't have that accountability, I wouldn't have done it. The coaching is the coaching. Like, that's invaluable. If you don't ask the questions, you're not going to get the answers. And there's no such thing as a stupid question. Masterminding for me was my favorite thing in the world because you're surrounded by like-minded people. It's another level of a support system for you. And what you learn, because everybody has come from different backgrounds, even if you're going towards the same thing, you've all come from different backgrounds. So people have, things that you can add value to, and your mind just gets completely open. Those opportunities that have been put in front of you before that you couldn't see, you're now able to see because you've got a group around you going, why aren't you doing this?
Yeah.
You said you were going to do this. Like, it's a different level of commitment and follow through. And yeah, all of it is what works together. You don't do one and not do the other, because you're not setting yourself up truly for success. And always contribute. Don't just contribute, because the most value you get actually is when you contribute, not when you take.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So just to explain what Mastermind is, this is once a week, you get on a call with 8 other people who are in your industry going for similar goals that you are. So let's say if you're a coach, you're jumping on a call with coaches. If you're a network marketer, you're jumping with network marketers. If you have other business, or even if you want to climb up career ladder, there's different mastermind for that. And so what happens is frequently there's other people on the line who are further along with their goals, and they have the mindset for it, right? So whatever it is your challenge right now, let's say I want to hire a VA. Do you have any contacts? And people give you advice. I want to run Facebook ads, or my Facebook ads are stuck with this. Can you guys advise me? And people brainstorm from their own business experiences, and you receive guidance within 1 hour, rather than suffering and trying to figure out and research for months. It's invaluable. And
Mm-hmm.
you literally speed up your results like that by associating yourself with like-minded people who have similar goals and similar industry. I can't imagine my life without masterminding. I just
Mm-mm.
can't. This is where the 5 people you hang out with the most, these people will form your results or impact your results the most. So you've got to have your circle of influence around you.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we've said so much, Joanne. I want to talk a little bit about decision, guys. Both Joanne and I, we felt unfulfilled, okay? And maybe right now you're comfortable, or maybe you're just sick and tired of where you are. But you've got to ask yourself, if you feel inside that you can do more than you're doing, and you can be more than you're doing, that there's more for you out there, that voice is valid. And nothing ever changes until you make the decision. you've got to make a jump. Like you've got to make a decision. Maybe you're like Joanne, sick and tired with your current circumstance. I mean, that's where I was as well. Or maybe you just deep down know that you're meant for more. And no matter how many years you've spent, how much you know in terms of strategies, in terms of book knowledge, how much you work, how many hours you put in, you're not achieving that goal. It's time for you. Exactly what Joanne said. It's your time. It's not time next month, 6 months from now, a year from now. Your time is now. If you are here today, I don't know why you need to do it now, but you have attracted it today. And if you simply understand, if you ask yourself, do I feel that Eva and her team can help me hit my goal? If the answer is yes, this is your own compass called intuition telling you you've got to do it today. And if you follow through, then you achieve your goals. If you overstep that, I don't know if you have experiences of overstepping your intuition, but simply you're not achieving your goal. You're just getting Groundhog Day all day long. So we all know what to do. Like deep down, we all know what to do, but not everybody respects that. Frequently, we overstep our wisdom inside by going and asking our spouse, asking people around us. And we frequently ask people that haven't achieved our goal or didn't require the transformation that we require. You are the only person that knows what's right for you, and you've got to listen to that. If you do, I can tell you within a few months, you're going to be like Joanne, sitting here and sharing results. If you don't, again, I could have a crystal ball. Probably, most likely, you're going to be in the similar spot. Maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, but similar spot. And you can judge that by looking at past few years. How much have you been jumping upward? You know, we don't until we make a change, we make a decision. So I hope this interview inspires you and you click that link in the description and you join us. Like seriously, this is a game changer. And if you feel that you want more and you feel you're meant for more, you've got to jump, you've got to invest, and you've got to make a decision so that an expert in the field can guide you. Joanne, do you have any final words of wisdom for those that are like, oh, you know, yeah, I know that she can help me, but I'm so scared. Is there anything you would say?
Like the time is now. It always is now. So it is. So what is it that you need to hear to make this a yes for you? You're already here. So what is it that you need to hear? Because we all process slightly differently. But if you feel at any stage it's a yes, your time is now.
Yeah.
So what are you choosing to not hear to make it a yes for you?
Very good. I love that. So listen, guys, with the pen drop, Joanne finalized our call. Thank you so much, Joanne, for being here, for inspiring us all. And guys, we are here really keeping our fingers crossed for you. We are just two ordinary women who received results that received tools that create extraordinary results. Anybody who learns how to master these tools creates extraordinary results. We are not exception. We are the rule. And if you follow the instructions, you're going to get fabulous results as well. You just need to trust yourself and make a decision. So we hope you do. Thank you, Joanne, once again. Have a fabulous evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.